Hi everyone, thank you very much for all the questions that you sent in this week. I'm grateful because I haven't actually been doing all that much physical work this week, and so I thought it would be a good opportunity to answer any questions if anybody had any. So, in no particular order, I am going to go through what I've got now. So, from Mr. Beardface, I'd be interested to know, are there any limitations of moving to Ireland, such as getting a job and earning a living? Things like paying tax, national insurance, etc. Are you able to enrol your children into school easily if you weren't homeschooling them? And do you and your family intend on living more off-grid eventually with solar panels and rain catchment, etc.? Keep up the great videos. Obviously there's quite a few questions there, so I will try and go through them. Some of them actually I can't really answer right now because I don't know myself. But getting a job, well, at the moment this is part of my income making these videos. I don't get paid an awful lot, but I'm very happy that I get to earn some money doing the things that I enjoy. And at the moment, really, we're currently living off savings with the idea of getting as much of this in place as possible before needing an income. That being said, we have got ideas in the pipeline coming soon that are going to hopefully give us more than enough income to sustain us in this way of life. As far as I know, it's easy to enrol your children into school. We have friends around here that have their kids in school. I can't imagine why there would be any difficulty there. And as for paying tax, at the moment I'm not actually working, so I'm not paying any income tax at the moment. I'd like to point out though, before I kind of get any comments, I'm also not on any kind of benefit or dole at the moment, so just to rule out any comments coming at me from that one. Do you and your family intend on living more off-grid eventually with solar panels and rain catchment, etc.? Keep up the great videos. Yeah, we do. So currently we are off-grid for our water supply. We have a well and our cooking. We're currently on gas, and for heating we just have the wood-burning stove. So the last kind of link to the grid is our electricity supply at the moment. We are on grid for that, and the reason that we've not shifted off that just yet is because I spent the summer monitoring our power usage, and now I'm just going to monitor the winter and see what we use power-wise there. Meanwhile, trying to reduce everything that would require any kind of on-grid connection, and then once I've done that, I can size what off-grid setup we need, and then I'm probably going to incorporate that into my workshop and shed behind us and link that all off into the house. It'll probably be a combination of solar and wind. Tianan van der Brun. How about a long and short-term plan? Map out the grounds and get a sense of the space. County Clare has some of the best sea fishing in Ireland. Are you going to tap into that resource? And are you big on foraging for wild foods? How do you plan to support your new life in Ireland? So short term very much is just picking a job off the list and tackling each day as it comes. There is literally like a lifetime's amount of work here to be doing, so I try not to get too caught up in the long term because that's too much for my little brain to handle. But I guess if I was to start to scope out long term, growing more vegetables, we're right at the very beginning of that. You can see I'm setting my polytunnel right now. We want to get some chickens, and we're probably going to get a couple of little coony pigs for helping with sort of clearing land and that sort of thing. They don't need to be fed up the same as a commercial pig, so it won't cost a lot to keep. As for sea fishing, I have actually been out fishing for somebody's birthday. It's not something, I'm not a keen fisherman, so it's not something I'd really looked into, but who knows. And are we big for foraging for wild foods? It's something that over the years we've been keen to learn more and more. Annie more so than me, and yeah, we've been out and about and found some mushrooms, and there's plenty of sort of foraging to be done around the land. We've got sort of wild strawberries, obviously blackberries. We've got some raspberries kind of growing wild. We've got blackthorn, hawthorn, all that kind of thing. So yeah, we do use that. And I'm keen for next summer to be doing a lot more like wild teas and doing as much as possible to not be buying packaged things from the shop. And how do we plan to support ourselves here in Ireland? Well, I'll let you in on a little secret. We've got a yurt coming, and that's for a couple of reasons. There's loads of work to be doing in the house, so we're hoping that in the spring I will have that yurt base done and built, and then we can move into the yurt temporarily whilst I'm doing things like I'm ripping the floors out and insulating the place, possibly even taking the slates off the roof and reslating the roof. So, I mean, yeah, a good few months of work. So really we need to move out. So we'd be moving into the yurt. It's got a wood burning stove and all that sort of thing in it. And then I guess after that, we could maybe rent that out as a little holiday space in the summer, things like that. I mean, the beauty of this lifestyle is that we don't need an awful lot of money to sustain ourselves. Like very little, like the same sort of money actually that it cost us when we used to live in the van. So, like I'd say we could live very comfortably on €1,000 a month, maybe even less. Well, definitely less. The more we grow. So, I think maybe I'll do a different video on that at some point when I've got a bit better head for the figures myself. I'm an Irishman living in New Zealand for the last 6 years. I guess I want to know if it's feasible in the future for me to do what you have done. Take the leap of faith and start my own project. It's reassuring seeing you and your family progress so well in such a short space of time. Credit to you all. Yeah, that's a really lovely comment. I guess it's also worth pointing out to everybody that, you know, I'm filming stuff as I'm going, and generally when I'm filming, I'm in a good mood, I'm in a good place, and I'm cracking on and ticking another job off the list. That's not to say that I don't have moments where I'm like, oh, overwhelmed or stressed out, or, you know, you name it. I still experience all of the usual ups and downs of life. That being said, I do realise that I'm incredibly lucky to be in the position I'm in right now, essentially living my dream, and probably quite a lot of other people's dreams too. So I think it would be a bit insulting if I didn't make the best of it. From Josh Lehan: I would love to see your land with the cottage and rough idea of cost in the area. Thanks, love the channel. Well, if you want to see the land with the cottage, then I'd recommend going back through my older videos. You'll see that when we very first moved here I did a bit of a land tour in the summer, and you can see the land surrounding the cottage and the cottage itself. Maybe at the end of this video I'll do a quick walk around the house. It's very small, it'll take me about 30 seconds to show you all the rooms in the house, for anybody that's interested. Okay, so I was in two minds as to whether to put this one in, but I guess it's been asked, so I will answer it. Have you witnessed any animosity from the Irish towards English people living there? My answer is no for that. Never. But Annie's half Irish, maybe some of you already know that. So Annie's dad lives in Cork, along with the rest of her dad's side of the family, all from around there. And ever since the first day I came to Ireland 12 years ago, I've experienced nothing but love and acceptance from all of the Irish people that I've ever met, and that's continuing now. The only exception to that has been since I've made YouTube videos. I've had a couple of people kind of call me out, make assumptions, one of them being that maybe I might be on the dole, or using the Irish benefit system, free medical card or something, things like that, which I'd like to reiterate that I'm not doing that. And I guess I'd like to add something into that. It's been very important to me, and I think it's important to anybody that's moving to another country, that you observe their culture and traditions and history and respect that. And that's something that I'm learning more and more all the time. Irish history is really colourful, and the British played a big part in that, and it's well worth reading up on that side of thing and get an understanding as to why there could potentially be any animosity. But yeah, I'd like to finish that I've experienced nothing but love, acceptance and help from everybody around here. So my experience has been completely positive. Noddy Edwards, cost of your property and buying costs, local cost of living, how you intend to make a living, how is it fitting into your local community, have you met your neighbours, are you homeschooling, are you making music, what projects have you got planned for the next 2 years, are the children happy, how is it being away from family in the UK, any idea of cost to travel out and back to the UK. Wow, that is a lot of questions. So the cost of our property, we paid $125,000 for our place, and it's got quite a story with it in itself. It was a brilliant process from start to finish. There was no estate agents, and we got on really well with the people that were selling the place. It was just full of honesty and integrity, and no messing about, no games, and that went for both of us. We didn't get any kind of reports done. I just had kind of 2 questions for my solicitor. Can I legally live there? Can I legally access it? And the rest I'll worry about later. And so we were in within 4 weeks, which is unheard of anywhere, I think. The cost of living, yeah, food is definitely more. Running a car is more. The cost of living is high. So it's something that I was aware of before moving here, so it's not shocked me too much. Although running an older vehicle in terms of like road tax and things like that, or if you want a commercial vehicle, yeah, then that can hit the wallet pretty hard. But to be honest, long term, we're wanting to bring ourselves down to a one van family anyway. Fitting into the local community, before moving here, actually, we had a couple of friends in the area, which is obviously really helpful. We met them whilst living and travelling in our van. They made us feel really at home. Dear and Frankie, hello if you're watching. And since moving here, yeah, it's been great. Like, we were here maybe for like a week or 2, and then a car come up the drive, and I was a bit like kind of freaked out. I was like, oh, there's somebody pulled up here. I wonder who that is. That was one of my neighbours. Came to introduce himself, apologised like for not being up there sooner, but he was busy, to come and welcome us, which was just lovely. And then like a couple of days later, Pada, who helped me lay the slab, he came to say hello, and we've been sort of friends ever since. And again, I just thought it was great. So yeah, fitting into the community really well, and hopefully expand that group of friends as well over the next coming years. Are we homeschooling? Yeah, we are homeschooling. We've home educated for about 6 years now, and we can't imagine doing it any other way. Funnily enough, actually, I went onto TikTok for the first time ever, on recommendation of Mr. Beardface, I think, and yeah, I threw a video out and it went viral, and I ended up like having to field loads of questions about home education, which was never my intention for making a channel on there, but hey ho, I guess that's the way things go sometimes. But yeah, we home educate, it's great. Any questions on that, feel free to ask me. We love doing it, and it really works well for us. Am I making music? So I don't know whether Noddy's been following me for a very long time, because maybe some of you don't know that I am also a musician. I used to have all my own songs out there. I still do have all my own songs out there, and yeah, I am still playing music. And actually recently though, I've been getting into trad music, and for those of you that aren't familiar with that, have a look at some jigs and reels on YouTube. It just lights me up. I love it. Actually, we have a couple of friends coming over tonight, and they put up with me trying to join in playing some trad guitar. So yeah, still playing music, still love it, just not so public with it anymore. What projects have we got planned for the next 2 years? Well, more this side of the polytunnel. We're going to maybe make like a keyhole vegetable garden. Chickens. We're going to be getting some pigs. Obviously the workshop's slowly going up. And yeah, like I say, the yurt's coming, so I'm going to be putting my yurt up. And then there's lots of projects in the house, so the floor needs to be coming up in the house. The walls need to be insulated. I need to reslate the roof. I need to build a staircase, and I think I found where I'm going to put it, but it's an interesting shape, so I might try and call on somebody with a bit more knowledge just to maybe steer me in the right direction before I start having to go at building that. But there's just countless projects, and I genuinely don't know usually week to week what I'm going to do. It's such a big list. I kind of steer in a rough direction, so I feel pretty lucky that that's the way I get to approach life. Corrigine 71. Okay, so what does Ireland offer that the UK can't, or why choose Ireland over any other locations? I'm guessing the biggest factor being family connections and cottage prices. My opinion is you will find it too remote and won't stay. However, I hope you do remain. Ireland needs people like yourself, talented and very capable. Well, thank you very much for the compliment. I do intend on staying for the long term. Why Ireland? Well, we did look at other places, and you're absolutely right. We do have a family connection here, which is great. And actually, when we had our little breakaway to Cork, it was lovely to remind ourselves that we've got like family nearby, and to make us not feel so kind of isolated and alone. But I don't actually feel isolated and alone here currently. Anyway, we went to Portugal for a while, and I was really kind of looking there. That's quite another kind of place that was on our radar. But I don't know what it's like for you, but I cannot work in the heat. Like, if it's hot, really hot, I can't work, and my productivity just falls to the floor. And that's not to say I don't like the heat. I love the heat, especially when I'm swimming in the lake or in the sea. But when I'm trying to get stuff done, I can't have it that hot. And yeah, we have a lot of rain here, but you know, in places like Portugal, there's forest fires, and there's evidence of it everywhere we kind of went. And yeah, that kind of freaked me out, if I'm being honest. And on a kind of side note as to why here, I've always had a unusual draw to County Clare specifically in Ireland, and I could never explain it. And make of it what you will. But actually, when we were here, I don't know how long you guys have been following us, we were looking at another place, maybe half an hour from here before we got this place. And I was talking to my dad, and he found out that through his cousin, had been looking through our family tree, because our family tree is very short on one side of the family. I think something to do with an affair or a child out of wedlock with a Catholic great-grandmother, and then my great-grandfather was from the north. But anyway, it turns out my great-grandmother or my great-great-grandmother was from Kilmaley, so like not far from here at all. And I thought that was kind of cool. But yeah, maybe you just think that's just a complete coincidence, but I don't know, it made me feel kind of like, oh wow, maybe that's why I have a draw to this place. Maybe it's a bit more than just having a cheaper cottage. That being said, of course, like the price of this property, like, was a contributing factor. But I mean, there were other countries available that we could go to. The other thing that I just absolutely love about Ireland is it's quiet. You can get lost here. I just love all the mythology. I love the place. Like, always have done. And maybe it will be hard to believe, but I actually love how remote it is. That's not to say that I don't like people. Like, I like to socialise, but I can't handle busy places. In fact, actually, when we got this place, I went back to the UK just to get my blue van, Project Duct Tape, which had our kind of skeletal remains packed away in there to bring it back. And even as I got off the boat and into Wales, it was overwhelmingly more busy, like within no time of being there, than it is anywhere around here. And I just get I get a much nicer feeling from it being more quiet around here. Terry the Tough. I'm from Australia. My partner is from West Clare. We live in Australia now, but have the option to take some land and a ruined cottage near Spanish Point. It's not far from me. Very lovely. I'm worried the weather will play on my mind. Can the weather there become depressive? Every time I've been to Ireland, the weather has been spectacular, but my partner says the weather can wear on a person. Should the weather be a factor in moving to Ireland? That's a very individual thing, I think. It's something that I get asked a lot, and even by people around here, like, "Are you sure? Like, you want to be around there? You could have gone to Portugal or somewhere warm." Um, for me, so far, no, it's not, and it's all a matter of perspective, I think. Like I was saying earlier, if I was in Portugal in the middle of summer, there's no way I'd be building some of the things that I've been doing now, or I'd be getting up, at the early hours of the morning, because I don't work well in the heat. And when it's raining, as you've seen from my other videos, I just put some waterproofs on and just carry on working. And when I've had enough, I come in, light the fire and dry off. And actually my friends, John and Liz, they've got a really cool permaculture smallholding in Suffolk in the UK, and during the summer it hardly rains there at all. And I see my friend John be looking at the sky and watching the clouds passing by that might have a bit of rain in them, and they don't drop, and he's just and he's got to go out and he's watering it, and he's praying for rain. And that's not to say I'm sure he'd be sick of the rain if it was raining all the time too, but everything kind of comes with its pros and its cons. So once I've got vegetables growing outside, I'll probably be pretty glad every time it rains. I'll be like, right, that saves me a job. Maybe I can go and do something else instead. That being said, if weather stresses you out or depresses you, if it depresses you that it rains, or that it's windy, or any of those kind of weathers, then you should definitely consider that before taking on a project like that. That being said, go and look through all my other videos. You'll see like the sun does also come out, but it does also rain. I guess over here as well, my experience has been that the weather really does come in. Sometimes I've had like 4 seasons of weather in the space of 3 hours. But I guess the kind of benefit to that is being close to the coast is the wind seems to kind of take off whatever weather is hitting me at the time and off onto the next bit of land. But I guess I'll be able to give you a full report on this, as we come into the spring next year. I have actually spent part of a winter living in my van in Ireland as well, and I was fine. I had the same concern though from family members. Are you sure you don't want to come in, warm up and all that sort of thing? It's like, no, honestly, I'm fine. I can handle it, and it was fine. I was warm, I was dry, so yeah, it doesn't bother me. And I guess my closing bit of advice for you is if you think that could be a problem, then I would always suggest come in here and spend a year here and see how you feel. Like, maybe you'll fall in love with it like I did, or maybe you'll hate it and never want to come back. I don't know. But I think I get a lot of questions, and I think it's for people feeling as to whether they would want to do what I'm doing. And it is obviously valuable to be able to take advice from other people, but I think that nothing speaks better than doing something for yourself. And that's what I did. There wasn't really anybody to ask. I just, came over, experienced it, thought about how I would feel, and went for it. And I guess, if this channel goes on for a bit longer, you'll be able to find out kind of how I grow and develop with it. George Scoose, what are your annual outgoings? Well, that is a really hard one for me to measure at the moment, because every month I'm getting like materials in and all sorts of things that are more of a one-time purchase. So my expenditure's pretty high at the moment. Doing my bit to support the local building economy. So I will do another video on that once that all kind of slows down. But I guess to kind of put some of the costs in there so you can think, like, we've just paid the land property tax on this place, which I think was about €110, and then We take our rubbish and recycling to the dump ourselves, and we pay, it's €5 a bag of general waste, so non-recyclable. No, sorry, €7 for non-recyclable, and then €5 for all your recycling. And you can go and take your glass and your aluminium cans for free down the road. So we probably go to the tip maybe once every 6 weeks or so, and spend anywhere between kind of 10 and 25 quid. And then at the moment, because we're not growing any of our own veg, we get our fruit and veg from a company called Beach Lawn, who get all locally grown food, well, I say locally, all food grown in Ireland, delivered to the door, all organic, and I think we spend, maybe about 30 quid a week on that, and then I might do a shop down at the local Aldi, like once a week or once every couple of weeks, just to get the things that you can't get from there, your pasta, salt, spices, those sorts of things. But yeah, if I was to make a guess as to what it costs us a month, we'd be under 1,000, I think, with all the bills kind of all in. Okay, so that's all the questions I've got so far. I think I'm going to go in now, because I don't know if you can tell from this video, but the sun is starting to go down and I'm running out of daylight. Thanks very much for everybody watching, and don't forget to like, comment and subscribe for more videos, and I will catch you next week. Next week I'm going to be building the lean-to, so we're going to be back to the normal format of chipping away at the big long list of work. See you later.